no other league is quite as good to be bad. Being bad means landing that once-in-a-generational talent, that franchise player, that guy who can rocket you to the top of the league. For many teams, being bad is just a necessity to starting a dynasty. This is Sam from Trash Talk, and today I am ranking the bottom 10 teams in the NBA for the 2018-2019 season. 12. That's how many seasons the Sacramento Kings have gone without making the postseason. But with so many awful seasons, you would think that the Kings could put together some talent in the draft, right? Nope. Remember Quincy Douby? Nick Stauskas? Ben McLemore? Thomas Robinson? And when they don't screw up the draft, like with Tyreke Evans, Hassan Whiteside, or Isaiah Thomas, they get rid of them before they can develop. What a horribly run organization. The worst in pro sports. My condolences to the Kings roster. Truly, these gentlemen deserve better. After letting Paul Millsap and Dwight Howard walk into free agency in 2017, it was clear that the Hawks were going into total rebuilding mode. And boy howdy did they. Their 24 wins was the second fewest in a season since they moved from St. Louis 50 years ago. The Hawks began their rebuild by drafting John Collins out of Wake Forest. Despite only starting 26 games, the young power forward compiled 11 double-doubles, resulting in him being selected to the all-rookie second team. Aside from that, it doesn't get much better for the Hawks. But unlike other teams this early in the countdown, it appears that Atlanta's front office actually has a plan in place for the future of this organization. In the 2015-2016 season, the Golden State Warriors broke a league record by winning 73 games. Since then, over the past 3 seasons, the Phoenix Suns have won a total of 68 games. In fairness to the Suns, there are a lot of new pieces to this year's team, highlighted by number 1 overall pick center DeAndre Ayton. Without even playing a game, Ayton is already drawing comparisons to Joel Embiid. Trevor Ariza and Ryan Anderson provide fresh faces at the forward positions, while the offense will continue to go through Devin Booker. The Suns are still a ways away from competing in the Western Conference, but the front office has a clear plan moving forward. It's just a question of how well they execute that plan. The drama surrounding LeBron's departure was much quieter this time around. Maybe it's because he left an NBA championship in the land, which I'm from Ohio. We never called it the land when I lived there. It's a stupid nickname and they should stop trying to make it a thing. It's dumb. And look, it's gonna get ugly in Cleveland. J.R. Smith is getting 15 mil, George Hill 19 mil, and Tristan Thompson over $17 million this season. These are ugly, ugly contracts that the Cavs are saddled with. Also, with both their 2019 draft picks already traded away, the Cavs can't even begin to rebuild yet. Let me be blunt. This team could do nothing right last season. The Grizzlies were in the bottom 5 in field goal percentage, in 3-point percentage, and in rebounding, while also leading the league in personal fouls. This team is awful. So what did the front office do to improve? They signed Kyle Anderson. To the naked eye, it looks like Memphis is going full Tankadelphia on us, but without actually trying to rebuild for the future. In fact, they only have a second-round pick from Boston coming this year, while giving them their first-round pick if Memphis somehow plays too well. If the Grizzlies are going to play as poorly as I think they will, they may as well go back to Vancouver, because honestly, that's what this team reminds me of. You know, for as much history as the Knicks organization has, you would be surprised to learn that this is the 3rd time they've missed the playoffs in 5 consecutive seasons. So stretches like this are nothing new. The outlook for New York begins with a reminder that they will be without Chris Porzingis through Christmas, at least. Which, may I remind you, that Knicks fans booed this guy when they drafted him a couple of years ago. Knicks fans wanted Justice Winslow or Emmanuel Mudiay. This is as dumb as Eagles fans booing Donovan McNabb because they wanted Ricky Williams. But hey, the Knicks eventually got Mudiay. They'll be coming off the bench to give Trey Burke a rest once in a while. Jeez, Knicks fans, you deserve this. Next. How are the Bulls liking that Jimmy Butler trade? Highly criticized at the time, it appears the Bulls have dodged a huge bullet as far as locker room atmosphere is concerned. Going into this season, the Bulls will be starting 3 players they acquired from that Jimmy Butler trade, in Chris Dunn, Zach LaVine, and all-rookie first-team selection Lauri Markkanen. The finisher has drawn comparisons to Dirk Nowitzki for his ability to rebound and hit from beyond the arc, as well as that whole being from Europe thing. The Bulls are probably still a year away from making some noise in the standings, but with plenty of young talent now, they have that foundation firmly cemented. Throughout its history, Orlando has relied on that big-name star, like Shaq, Tracy McGrady, or Dwight Howard, to get them into the playoffs. That big-name star is something the Magic have lacked since the departure of Dwight Howard several years ago. It is also the main reason they have failed to make the playoffs in each of the last 6 seasons. Enter Aaron Gordon. Gordon has seen his numbers improve every year since his rookie season in 2014-2015. Gordon missed 24 games last season, during which the Magic went an abysmal 6-18. But here's the thing. Aaron Gordon isn't Shaq or McGrady or Dwight Howard. At least not yet. And until he gets there, if he gets there, the Magic are going to be an afterthought in the playoff conversation. The good news in Brooklyn is that they had their best season since 2015. The bad news in Brooklyn is it was still only 28 wins. The guard play was respectable for the Nets last season, led by Spencer Dinwiddie and former Ohio State Buckeye D'Angelo Russell. However, that was the only bright spot for the Nets. Their post play was simply awful, giving up the most rebounds in the league last season. The only good news for the Nets is that they may finally start to be able to rebuild now that they have their own first-round pick. This is something they haven't had since the disastrous Deron Williams experiment 7 years ago. Well, Clippers fans, that was a fun couple of years. The Paul Griffin DeAndre era produced 6 straight playoff appearances, matching the number of playoff appearances in the first 35 years of the franchise's existence. But now it's 2018, and all 3 of those players are elsewhere, left with a team that has exactly 1 player remaining from 2016. Tobias Harris will be the focal point of the Clippers offense, aided by the returning 6th Man of the Year, Lou Williams. With so many new faces, it's difficult to gauge how this team will gel together, if they gel together at all. But even if the chemistry is perfect, the talent level will prevent them from making too much noise in a crowded Western Conference. Now, I'm sure one of these 10 teams is going to sneak into the postseason, but nonetheless, that's a who's who of teams who will be scouting draft prospects in April, and not playoff opponents. And until next time, this is Sam from Trash Talk. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. Oh, but before you go, be sure to hit the like button down below. There's also a share button down there where you can share with your local NBA experts so that he can argue with me and I can't hear it. There's also a subscribe button so you don't miss a future video. And speaking of videos, there should be some on your screen now. Don't miss out.